Research reveals that a learner's strengths and weaknesses depend on context. Todd Rose, a research scientist at CAST, provides an example of where a weakness in one context became a strength in another.
I was lucky to be part of a project at the Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics. We were looking at dyslexic astrophysicists and looking at some of the strengths and limitations they had in terms of visual processing. And just simply looking at the variability that we see in the brain and even down to the level of genetics, it seemed to suggest that there would be things they would struggle with, but things they would be good at. And what we found was exactly that. When it was tasks that looked a lot like reading, they struggled. But these same astrophysicists who had been diagnosed as having dyslexia turned out to be phenomenally better at tasks that depended on broad visual spatial abilities. For example, the detection of black holes. What astrophysicists do is they get time on very expensive telescopes, just a little bit of time, and they take a scan of the entire sky at that point, and they get data sent back to them. But it's in the form of, it's called spectral data. It's just these squiggly lines that span, about 20 degrees of visual angle, and a lot of it's just noise. And every once in a while, there's that needle in the haystack, something that says, this is a black hole at the center of a galaxy. And the ability to quickly figure out whether something is a black hole or not is really career defining. And there are people that are good at it and people who are not. And as it turned out, the astrophysicists who were diagnosed with dyslexia were significantly better at picking out these black holes, that needle in a haystack. And in their field, they were objectively revered as being very good at what they do. And what was really interesting is when you talk to the astrophysicists who were really proficient readers, but not so good at this other task, when asked if they would switch up the ability to read proficiently with the ability to detect black holes, most said, of course they'd trade that. Because in their field, the ability to detect black holes was of high value.